Oh, we don't have an intro. By the way,
we don't have an intro tonight. Not in the budget.
It's not in the budget. As you can see, I have my powered by StreamYard right here.
Right.
Yeah, can only
right there.
tell you that I have no budget for intro, nor
Carlos is closest
StreamYard.
to it.
Yeah.
There you go. Poke the duck, Carlos.
And my background is leaves on the back.
Yeah.
So it's very so I'm depending on super chats tonight to afford screen chat.
He's got to pay for that Wendy's somehow.
StreamYard moving forward.
4 for $20.
Send in your super chats. Optical needs to buy that Riva right now. So
he needs to pre-order right now. It's going to blue screen.
Here we go. Whew, I was gonna say we're gonna start, kind of mellow, going down. Okay. I guess we're just jumping right into it. So yeah, but hey, before we do that, Carlos, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Making any mistakes?
I'm doing good, man.
Ready to piss off some people?
Dude, I'm ready to piss off a lot of people. You ready to lose some subscribers today?
I don't need help with that.
Yeah, you don't need help.
I'm gonna accelerate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually going down. That's my goal. That's
very charitable.
I'm gonna make
Carlos.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make it crash. Just wait.
Yeah, planning to hit 10,000 pretty soon. Will, long time no see, man. Are you ready to get canceled?
Yeah, man. It's been like 18 hours, 20 hours at this point.
Literally
I don't know.
Hours,
my math isn't great. But yeah, dude, I'm totally ready to get canceled. So, I mean, at this point, if we're going to talk about value some more, then yeah, like I'm ready to dig my own grave. So,
it's about people. I mean, we're collectors here, all right? I mean, it's all about passion.
It's about the love of collecting first and foremost, which I agree with, but also like I want to have money. So,
just love is enough.
So I'll probably just wait and get I'll get Riva on Toys 1 or something.
You are a fake ass collector. You're not a true collector.
Love is enough.
About money.
Yeah, nah, dude. Like I said, everyone has their own belief in collecting and their own sort of principles. So it is what it is.
Shut your fake ass collector up, man.
Get out of here.
Love for the passion,
Yeah, it's true, man.
Love for
I said that to my wife. She left me, so I stopped working.
That's how you do it.
It's like, hey, you know what? It's all about the love. Money's just a material thing, and then
right. Here's my statue.
The following day, he was like, "Hello, where's breakfast?"
As you have like 5 boxes show up that week.
But dude, Carlos, so for anyone who doesn't know, Carlos is gonna make up his own channel if he ever decides to make a logo one day.
Yes, I will one day.
Yeah, and he's gonna be unfiltered, and hopefully he starts that on his own channel. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Let's ban him on everyone else's channel.
Dude, I started that yesterday with Will, and it was pretty fun.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah. I lost like 10 subscribers because of Carlos.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Love Star Wars, man. Stop doing that. But hey, before we start, we're spicy. We're gonna be spicy today.
Are we?
Yeah.
That well.
Can I highlight those comments?
Oh, comments. Which one?
No, this one right here goes. Now I get why
fat
Carlos.
tie kid inside. That's some ruthless
Yeah,
shit,
I know. Now I get why Carlos wears the hat all the time. Dude, he's just fucking hating. Hey, whoever this fat dude is, jump on the stream. Let's see your forehead. All right. Let's see what you have working out. I guarantee
we're off to an incredible start on this show.
We are on a great start right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, do you have a great forehead, Carlos? I'm sure Fat Tie Kid Inside has a great forehead too. So you're all 10.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I have a better one.
I was like, we shouldn't have invited us on, dude.
Yeah, I knew this was a bad idea. Yeah. I should have just been by myself, but yeah.
It's like a
dude, call Riley's mom, see if he's allowed to jump on.
Jesus, we're not including moms.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, because Riley needs
just Riley's.
Permission. That's what
just Riley's.
Yes,
okay.
Riley's.
Well, Riley's going to Vegas with his optical. We got to chaperone him. So.
Oh, are you guys going there?
We have to babysit a fucking child.
Yeah, we got to babysit Riley. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to babysit him.
Yeah,
are y'all going? When is,
are you going? Dude, come on, man.
I thought it's gonna be like on I thought they were gonna be on New York Comic Con, so I took a day off there, and then they moved it. That is like third week of October, right?
It's like the week after New York Comic Con, I think.
See, I was like, yeah. Why didn't you tell me right away? It was like my vacation is literally the week before.
That's how mine is too, but I'm still gonna get off that next week too. The Friday at least, yeah.
Okay. I mean, are you all going? Are you, Carlos? You going to?
Yeah, Carlos is going
to Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Will's babysitting Riley. I gotta babysit this fucker.
Riley's
Why are you
coming.
gonna put, dude? Riley needs a chaperone, not a babysitter.
Riley's coming.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, dude, we can't even get into the good club.
He can't. I don't even know if he can get in because there's like, I don't drink, but like, supposedly there's like alcohol and stuff involved. It's Vegas. I don't know. I've never been, but Carlos is kind of prepped me.
Sign a waiver or something. Will?
Yeah, probably.
Do you need to bring like a car seat or something?
Car seat. Yeah.
I know he's like 6'4" or something, but
he's like my height.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm 6'4". He's around my height.
Yeah, but he weighs like fucking negative 100 pounds, bro. Like,
yeah, he weighs like 60 pounds less than me. Yeah.
Yeah, he barely weighs anything. But no, dude, it was funny because Will was like, Carlos, I want to go to Vegas and I want to stay at the cheapest place. And I'm like, do you understand what that means in Vegas? He's like, no, what does it mean? And I was like, well, let me paint this picture. And I won't say it live, but it's a lot of dirtiness that goes on.
Well, dude,
it is Vegas after all.
Talking about Will and dirtiness at the same time. So
yeah, exactly, dude.
I mean, he's not fazed by any dirt at this point, man.
Yeah. So no, but Carlos did prep me for what Vegas is like. I've never been. So supposedly, like, professionals will come up to you on the street and give you their card and stuff, and I'm like, this is weird. Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna be like, no, okay. I've walked in malls before, so I know how to just keep it moving and avoid them. So that's usually like cell phone repairs, though, not this. So
dude, you can see anything in Vegas because brothels are legal, right?
Why are we talking about this, man?
All right, let's move on.
All right, go ahead.
All right, let's just address the
this is Game of Thrones.
The chads are kind of like confused right now. It's like, what
they are
into brothels and Riley, Peyton's here, Lewis, Ganesh, Erwin. What's up, Erwin? Oh, look at this, J-Rod, football season. Oh, Riley, what's up, everybody? Carlos, did you pay to be on tonight? Riley, do you want to get in? Yeah. Let me know, because I won't let you in. Bob's here. Mosile? God, I can't.
Mosile.
Yeah. 1-6 fix. All right, Riley again. Oh, Fat.
Oh, what is FEC?
We already addressed Fat. Oh, Mario, I thought you were gonna stream tonight because Mario was supposed to be here, but he said he's busy. Commander Green, Ryan. Oh man, I'm glad you liked it. It's like 30 minutes. I thought no one's gonna watch it, so it was too long. That's what she said. But Bob and Riley was just like, how did this turn into me getting flamed on? That's what happens, Riley, when you're not around. We always talk about the person who's not here.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about Leia later, or.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
we're
dude.
Yeah, right.
Denobi. I was chatting to Denobi earlier, but hey, we're gonna keep it positive. All right, so we're gonna keep the negative stuff later. So we'll start off in positive here. So let's talk about
get the fuck out of here, dude.
Would you like me to go first?
No, we're not.
No, don't let Carlos go at all.
For the love of God.
We heard enough of that last night.
Yeah,
actually.
Please. Yeah, I'd like to keep my channel intact, please. Thank you. I don't know if I heard. We're gonna. Okay, I got my timer here. All right, Carlos, I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I haven't heard your thoughts on this Mark 7. I know you're an Iron Man fan. Is this something that would, interest you at all?
No, not at all.
Is it because of the price?
No, I just think that it's a pointless version of Iron Man.
Carlos needs his own channel optical.
He really does.
Yeah, he's really showing a lot here tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, no. Sorry.
Take on this.
Okay,
this is hilarious.
All right, I don't. For me, I'm not a big fan of all these like different variants just to be a variant. Like these the stupid Arena Boba Fett and these neon tech Iron Man and this white and black and orange figure. I just don't gold figures. I just don't like them. So I just see that as another pointless figure that may be cool to add, and it looks pretty cool. But for me, it's just like I don't really care for it. It's just.
But it's not a variant though. It's Mark 7.
Yeah, but it's just open. Like I don't know.
Close it.
I don't really care. I don't care for it. Do you care for it?
Not right now. I'll wait till it goes waitlist.
Oh,
wait for the Toys Wonderland special.
Will, you like Mark 7?
Mark 7's my favorite armor. Is that Aquaman? It's Aquaman. I thought you were gonna pull up Amber Heard or something.
Do you have Mark 7?
Yeah, I do have the Mark 7. It's right there on the floor because I don't have a case to display right now. So
I have my statue over there, the Mark 7.
So I have everything set up, but they're under the tables at the moment on the stands because mod cases take a year. So,
okay.
But no, I'm not going to get this optical just because I have the Mark 7, man. I'm kind of mostly in line with Carlos on this one. I think a lot of people have expressed like the same sentiment pretty regularly. It's kind of like, this is an okay figure, but it's kind of excessive, right? It's kind of like unnecessary because it's just one of those figures that's like, okay, it opens up. That's kind of cool. Unless you're the Iron Man completionist, I don't see a lot of people really going for this. I mean, you can pose it. It is die cast, but if I'm going to pay this much, I might as well just get the Mark 7, right? Like if I wanted to pay.
No, it's just how it is, right? Like there's no.
I thought you could pose it a little bit.
Could you pose it?
Look at the photos.
Okay, even if not, doesn't matter. Still pointless either way, right? Because I still think like if you're going to spend this much, why not just buy the Mark 7, which you can pose.
It's sold out.
And it has more options for display, battle damage, and not. You know, it's like this is kind of like this is for the Iron Man completionist like only. I think this is probably for the Asian market.
What if you didn't have Mark 7? Because Mark 7 is sold out.
Yeah, but you could probably find.
Can you close it? Can you
close
it?
Can you close it?
Let me see. Show me.
So you can pose that way. I think optical, you can still find the Mark 7 probably a little above retail. I'd rather pay that than get this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
The Mark 7 is beautiful.
This really kind of just pointless. Right here. Dude, you can't close it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at the back. Alternate display mode. You can see it. You can close it.
Oh.
So if you have...
It's like a Hall of Armor.
Yeah, if you can stick it in the Hall of Armor. That's my thing. Like, if you have Mark 7 and you don't want to put him in a Hall of Armor and you have 7, then this might be like a cheaper option / second option. You know, the base is nice though. I mean,
the base is nice.
I think it lights up. You know how we talk about like, hey, I'm not. The back doesn't matter because I'm not going to display my Hot Toys backwards. I think this is the only figure that you would display backwards.
Yeah, you were like, I'm going to turn my figure backwards.
It's like I don't care about the back.
It says diorama though, so yeah, it doesn't move. It just closes the back.
I mean, the base is cool.
The base is cool. Very cool.
The base is cool. I'll probably buy it for the base if I was to buy it.
Well, Carlos and Optical, what if this falls to 250?
No.
Still no?
That's still pretty high.
No, this has to be under 200 for me.
See, that might be hard though, because it's
that might be hard because die cast.
So, you know.
Yeah, or I can
just get to that point, but
or I can maybe buy the base for 100 or 150. I just want the base. I don't want the figure.
Bro, if you're going to pay 150 for the base, you might as well pay 250 for the whole figure and then sell the figure.
I mean, I'll buy this for 100, this figure right here. I'll stick it on my Hall of Armor and, call it a day.
I guess you're right. I could just sell the figure by itself. You're actually making a good point. Fuck you, Will.
See? Carlos, if you can afford that, then you can buy my Drogon for 1,500. So
I'm not buying your Drogon for 1,500 because I didn't tell you. I texted or messaged John. And he said a Drogon is in the talks for Inart.
Nah, bro, you're bluffing. I don't believe
you. Want me to show you a message? Hold on, motherfucker. I'm going to show you the message.
All right, Optical, you can move on, but Carlos is bluffing.
Yeah, Carlos is always
bluffing. Fine, I'm bluffing. Ask him. Ask John.
Hold on, I'm up. Who's John still talks to you?
Barely.
Barely. He responds to me after 2 months. And I have to show him a new piece that I bought, and then he won't talk to me. And then he'll talk to me.
Okay, this one. I was listening to your stream with Kiko.
Oh yeah,
it was a pretty good conversation. So, and you guys were talking about this figure. You might not be into this. I don't know if you are. I don't know if Carlos is, but where's my screen share? Why did it stop? Okay,
you got to start paying for StreamYard, bro.
Dude, man, look at this. What's going on here?
What happened?
Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This figure.
Okay, so it's now waitlist. Some things are sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys talked about it, and I kind of listened to it. Let's start with Carlos, because I heard your take on this. Do you think they're real, Carlos? The waitlist sold out things that Sideshow is
Do I think this is real?
Do you think this is real, or are we gonna see Peacemaker? Because when you put waitlist while it's being pre-ordered, they're sending a signal that we're only getting X number amount, right? Like we should not see this in stock if it's waitlist before it hits here.
Sure. So I think they know that this figure's going to bomb like Ariva and Athena. So they're going to order a bare minimum and say, okay, let's take it out of the pre-order window. If there's enough waitlist, then we'll add another batch. I just feel like Sideshow's giving us a bunch of signals. You know, it's like obvious signals that we're just not willing to understand. It's like when you go out with the girl and you're like, yeah, I went on a first date and it was really good. But for some reason, she's not responding to my text, or when she does, she's being really short with me. She doesn't fucking like you, bro. Get the hint. This is kind of what Sideshow's telling us. Collectors, get the fucking hint. These like quarter scales, DC, this stuff, like it's going on waitlist because no one wants it. It's like they're giving us hints. It's like, oh, low stock, they're fucking bluffing. Oh, almost sold out, bluffing. Waitlist, still bluffing. Like, how many more? It's fucking sick. And then they send us an email that says no FOMO. I'm like, bro, they're basically telling us like this is for real. So that's what.
And does it only apply to DC, or does it apply to something else? So far,
quarter scales and vehicles. Well, no, it's applying to DC quarter scales. I've seen a bunch of statues and a bunch of like prop replicas and art pieces go waitlist too. So it's not just Hot Toys; it's going all around their website. I've been taking some time to look.
What do you call that thing? Bat cycle or
the bat cycle?
The bat cycle.
Yeah, bat cycle. Yeah.
Bat cycle. How? I thought that was pretty popular.
I don't think so, dude.
Is it not?
Even the Bat Pod, they can't even seem to sell.
It's because this is waitlist as well.
Yeah, but look at the Bat Pod. The thing is just sitting
it's
there.
Like more like a moped. It's like
right. Okay, let's go through that. Do we believe Dark Knight is better than the Batman, except for Riley? Yes, we think so. Right?
Yeah, we do.
Do we think that this is more iconic than the Bat Pod? No, this was barely in the movie. So this is going to be a really bad sale for them. So I think they're just limiting it.
So you think that the wait list is for real?
Yeah. Well, okay. What I mean by that is it's not going to be in stock, but they're going to.
Are we going to see Peacemaker in stock?
I don't think so.
You think the moment it hits, we'll just get email and then Peacemaker?
I mean, it might be stuck if people like cancel what's going on with the economy, but let's just say things are staying. Like, let's say Peacemaker gets released tomorrow. I don't think it'll go in stock, honestly. But maybe I'm wrong.
So this bat cycle, if you want it, you should pre-order now or join the wait list.
Because there's you still see like what's his name? Comic Concepts and a few other players, they still carry it, so you can wait to see what's going on over there. You know what I mean? Sideshow isn't the only thing. So
I don't know what your answer is, man.
Your question was.
I was asking you if they're real or not.
Awesome.
You asked, are these real?
You if they're real. Because I'm new. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to Carlos. I heard he's a douche.
Yeah.
So I'm listening right now. I was like, God damn, I just got a whole bunch of non-answers.
Well, I mean, I can repeat everything I said. I just don't know if you want me to repeat everything I've already said a few times.
No, I don't want to hear what you just said, but you said that.
Okay, what I'm saying is this:
basically,
do I think this is going to be in stock at Sideshow? No. Do I think people need to pre-order this? No. I think you can, even if it's sold out or waitlist on Sideshow, you can, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean like you need to rush for this unless it's something you really want. Like,
okay. And this only applies to DC?
No, I've said like it is applying to quarter scales, DC, vehicles.
Shit that wouldn't sale, basically.
Yeah, prop replicas, art. There's a bunch of other shit that like fucking Bumblebee out of all fucking things sold out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm keeping receipts because the next topic I'll trying to remember what you just said.
I've been pretty inconsistent about this.
So, Will, do you think this is real or bluff? Like you said, like you guys were talking about on Friday.
Dude, I don't know, Optical. I'm starting to believe that it's real. I told Carlos, though, I do have a little bit of a cop-out answer. I feel like we don't have enough information or precedent yet to make an informed decision about whether it's real or not. Because We just don't know, man, because until these release and we know how many are in stock or not in stock, then we'll know. But at this point, I do think it's real, because I do think my speculation says basically that they would have already put this back over pre-order if it was an error. If it was an error, it went to waitlist like a week ago. Sideshow would have known about that over a week, right? And been like, oh, put that shit back over pre-order. It's a glitch, right? So, and they didn't do that. So I think they are either testing us a little bit, saying like, hey, let's throw a little bit of a wild card in there and see how people respond. Or is some FOMO going to kick in and people start adding to the wait list and this will garner some pre-orders, or will it not? And they're going to see kind of how this works. But I do think optical, like the dead stock argument that Carlos has made a bunch, is starting to make more sense to me. I know you've kind of said like maybe, you know, it's not the way a retailer as big as Sideshow might think. But to me, like, it's kind of like if you have this much dead stock and you're trying to steadily discount items and just get rid of them that you can't sell, like nobody's moving any tumblers right now. Nobody's moving any Boba Fett 2-packs until you knock 25% off. No one's moving Infinity War Thanos till you knock 30% off, right? So I don't know if Sideshow wants to do that forever. So yeah, they want to move as much product as possible, but in a way that doesn't destroy their dead stock and their inventory, right? So to me, I think this might start to be real. I think this is something like, and I'll let you go in a sec, Carlos, like something where it's low performing figures or, you know, I guess just low performing figures. If you're going to say quarter scale figures, like the gantry from Iron Man, this DC stuff that isn't moving as well as like Cad Bane or Vader. Vader and Cad Bane, they're not really going to limit, right? Because they're like, we want to sell as much of those as possible. But these that no one are really pre-ordering, like you might see Thena go to waitlist, right? Or Gilgamesh, or like things like that, or even Reva for that matter, that people probably won't pre-order in droves, right?
Okay. Right.
But Cad Bane and Vader and like more, and even Cyborg, probably more popular figures in the States, I think you will see those hang around on pre-order a little bit longer. So yes, I do think it's real, but not with any certainty. I can say that.
So with this, we're still gonna have a lot of dead stock then. Not with bad cycle. Not with lower, I guess,
lower demand
that are
figures.
Not popular. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. Because from what I gathered, they are testing it that they are not getting a whole lot of batches for things that might not sell, right? Like this is what we're getting into now.
Right.
So
I think they're trying to limit it.
The Peacemaker, they're gonna go, you know, basically sold out first, and what we're gonna be left with are the Bobas and, you know, the main characters, the Vaders.
Right. Vader, Luke Skywalker.
Maybe, yeah.
Mando.
Okay.
Yeah. All right,
I think that's what you're going to see. So it's almost like the more popular figures you'll probably be able to get cheaper than, say, the ones that are not popular because they won't be around as long. And then you'll have to go towards buying agent or wherever, right? So
right. So these are the figures / quote unquote. Do you have a figure in mind that you kind of want to buy, but you're not sure?
Like,
what do you mean? Like
yeah, because there's at least Cad Bane and Vader for sure. I want those, but
like that.
Those are. Can we agree that those guys are going to have high volume batches?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So think about something that's low volume batch that you might think that you might want to buy.
Morbius.
What?
No.
I want to say Morbius?
No, I was gonna say either TVA Loki or Sylvie because I do kind of want those. Sylvie, I do want.
So that might be high
stock.
stock though. I think that would be yeah, because it was during that COVID era and stuff. I think anything within the last 3 to 6 months, maybe 3 to 6 months, something like that will probably start being.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lower. Maybe 3
Sylvie's
months.
a popular character, but I don't know if she's like essential. You know, the most.
Yeah.
Yelena will be. Yeah, I think she'll be a sitter.
Because this is what happened to us. This model that you guys are talking about. This is what happened with Hela and Yondu. The lower tier characters sold out, and now we couldn't find them. So if that is the case, that might create some FOMO to some people, right? Like that's why I asked. Was like, okay, do you want Sylvie? Because if you don't get Sylvie now, she might be the next Yondu. You know, like from this way of thinking. So if that's the case, so how should you approach your purchase now? Because by that logic, now you can wait for main characters, but you can't wait for figures that you don't really want. But now you're risking, if I don't get Sylvie, she might be $500 later on.
Well, the one thing I would say to that optical is that Sylvie is still alive. So, and she's going to be in season 2. So, yeah. So, so Carlos and I thinking exactly like it's different with Yondu or Hella, right? Where they're or Wenwu. Like Wenwu, I think is going to be popular enough that I don't think you really have to do that. But Wenwu hits blue screen, you need to pre-order it if you want it. Because it's not one of those things you can wait on because there's probably not going to be another one. But I think the blue screen is exactly what I wanted to hit on. And I'll let Carlos go. Like you really need to monitor because people post this shit on Facebook all the time. Like if something's blue screen or low stock or whatever, you will know it on Facebook, right? So that's something you need to monitor if you want to follow this, if you want to be patient and wait. Because if something hits blue screen, like I don't want to pre-order Cad Bane and Vader, but I know I want them. But if someone posts on Facebook their blue screen, I'm going to pre-order them. So, and same goes with Sylvie for that matter. Like if Sylvie hits blue screen, I'll pre-order her. Like I don't want to, but I will. So for me, man, I just think you have to monitor it really closely. You have to be in touch with the stock levels that people post about. So you got to be in the groups and stuff.
Okay. So how about you, Carlos? How would you approach this if this is the case moving forward?
Can we highlight Ninja Squirrel real quick?
Ninja Squirrel.
Can we just say bye really quickly? Because there's the same guy from you yesterday, Will. Can't stand Carlos. Shame it's been a while.
There's about 500. Ninja Squirrel, no, we're not going to be above 500.
Justin Fields can be MVP, dude.
Yeah. So what was it? Approach. Yeah. Well, Will and I think even with you, Optical, we've talked about what makes a grail, meaning like a really expensive figure like on eBay, typically is a really good head sculpt, right? A character that's dead or had a very unique look like Thor Ragnarok. And the movie and or show had to be widely liked, right? I think nowadays Hot Toys is making more of the same figures, like a Drax. Back in the day, they only made one. They haven't made another. I believe we'll get one for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. If the figure is dead and the sculpt is pretty good, then I think if you see blue screen, you want to pre-order it. Everything else, for the most part, unless you really like that outfit, like Thor Ragnarok or Hulk or whatever, maybe something different. Aside from that, though, that's how that, you know what I mean? I don't think you really need to be too aggressive. Again, unless a specific figure, like I said, someone who died, or again, a specific look that you really, want to get, like Yelena or something. I don't know. So,
and with this, like Yelena, well, she's alive, but
maybe you really like the white suit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, would this be, because we all talk about the market, right? And regardless if you're selling or not selling, that's something that you got to monitor too. We talk about the market. Is this the solution though? Will this correct the market by doing this? Or is this a band-aid? Like, because your figures are still going to be worth shit unless you bought Peacemaker. And you said like earlier, if Peacemaker goes on blue screen, what's stopping you from going to Toys Wonderland to get Peacemaker?
So I think
is this a solution to the market crisis that Hot Toys is experiencing though?
Yeah. So another thing that with Big Arm Will we were talking about is it's a prerequisite is not that a figure needs to go and become $500 or $1,000 on eBay, or that it needs to sell out immediately, right? Like that's not why we're into collecting. It's more about, can this fix the market as far as like, if the purchase price, if I'm buying it for $250, can I at least sell it for $250, right? So I don't have to, like, that's really what I worry about. And I think this will fix it because there will be a nice balance of certain figures that will go up in value. And I think there's going to be some that will stay. And, I think this will fix the market if Sideshow keeps doing what looks like they're doing, which is limiting, high stock, not having a ton of dead stock. I think this will fix it. But I've said that in the next 3 to 6 months, I would expect, if I'm Sideshow, if they're going to keep doing this, to one, come out and say it. And then two, I guess they don't have to if they actually put a time pre-order for all figures moving forward, especially as the recession gets a little bit worse. So
yeah.
What do you think, Will? Would this correct the market? Because that's what we're doing this for, right? Because we all talked about, hey, it needs to go back to where it was. But limiting Peacemaker, would that make the value of Hot Toys go back up again?
Dude, a Peacemaker, I don't know. I think it could do, if the figure of Peacemaker comes out good, I think it could create a lot of FOMO and create demand for that figure. I mean, because anytime a figure is good and it's not available, it's inherently more valuable. You know, it just is. So that's why, you know, J&D Wonder Woman, for example, went way up because the quality was there and it was very limited, and a lot of people skipped on it because they weren't really sure about J&D at the time. That's what I feel like could happen with some of these Inart figures if they turn out really good. I think that could be a thing. But as to whether the solution to fix the market, I don't know, but they got to try something, right? I think it's to the point now where you have to do something because there's too much dead stock, man. Like they're discounting way too much shit. So if you're Sideshow, why not just maybe try to sell a little bit less and not have to inventory so many figures for years, right? They want to move the stock, I would assume, as quickly as possible. So if you have Thanos for 4 years, that or Iron Man Mark 50, that can't be good for them. Like that can't be something they want to do. So, you know, I don't think you're going to see Iron Man limited as much as Peacemaker per se, but if they know Peacemaker is a very low performer, why would you, you know, stock more inventory than you need to? So I think for them, it is a way of correcting the market. I think Toys Wonderland and places like that monitor Sideshow pretty heavily. So if Peacemaker goes sold out on Sideshow, I don't think you're going to see Peacemaker for a ridiculous price over there. I think they're going to monitor that. So I think that's going to change the market in a sense because now Toys Wonderland has more leverage to charge what they want. Like you don't see Darkseid Anakin on Toys Wonderland for $250, right? Because it's sold out everywhere. So if Peacemaker's sold out and you can't really get it in the States, they're going to raise the price on it. So it's not going to be $120. So that's my thinking. I think it's all going to be a reaction. It's going to be a domino effect.
So do you think this is a good step for them or an experiment at least?
I think it's a good try. I think you might as well try it. You know,
I see it from Sideshow's perspective. Like, why would I order a bunch of batches for something
of a figure that's not
selling,
moving,
right? Like, but for us collectors who talks about market 24/7, there's some channels who's strictly on market. If he's not going to sell and no one wants him anyway, then it wouldn't move the needle. It's kind of like Zod. Zod is a great figure. No one wanted him. He sold out, and you can still get him for 200, 250. So he would fall into that because no one wanted Zod as much as like no one wanted the Bat Cycle. Like from that that perspective, right? Like so, it wouldn't move the needle for the market. Like,
but it would not be Sideshow's responsibility to carry more than they needed to, because Sideshow, they don't really give a shit. Like once like Sideshow could be like, well, yeah, his secondary market value might not be more than retail, but we don't have to carry him because we can't move it for retail.
Oh, right. No, I'm not talking about Sideshow.
Yeah.
I'm talking about us reselling.
Oh,
yeah. That's what the market is all about.
Peacemaker
right?
was a pretty popular show, though. I mean, so Man of Steel was controversial. I mean, a lot of people love it, but it's not beloved by everybody.
So when you say resell, you mean like holding its value, not necessarily like
right. Like you don't buy it to resell, right? Like you purchased him. A year later, you change your mind because you feel like there's going to be a part 2 or he's going to be in another Suicide Squad. So this one, because we talk about market like, hey, your value couldn't hold up, your figure couldn't hold up the value, meaning now I'm prepared to sell, and it's still the value is still shit because it's available at Sideshow.
I think
now it's not right because Sideshow doesn't have it. Do you think
I think
hold the value now because of this?
Oh yeah, I believe so. I mean, this is not, like Will said, this is not going to fix everything, but it's the start of it. If Peacemaker was to be sold out, Comic Concepts in the US, right? Let's just pretend he's sold out, right? Let's just make that pretty simple. Even if there's a ton of Vaders and stuff, there's going to be someone out there who's going to want it. It's like, for example, it's going to take a little bit to sell, but it will sell. Like I had the the G.I. Joe, the Hot Toy one, the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, right? Yeah. I bought those pretty inexpensive, and it took a long time to sell on eBay, but sure enough, I was able to make my money back because they're not widely available. So while they won't sell instantly, that you should be able to regain your money back because it's not widely available. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because
go ahead.
there's someone who's gonna, if that Peacemaker figure comes out good, you know, it's going to be something that will at least hold its retail value if it's waitlisted 6 months to a year before it comes out. I mean, that's I think there's always going to be a demand for that because there's always, it only takes one, and someone's going to want to get that Peacemaker. Like it's the same. Like I just sold my Obi-Wan Kenobi Alec Guinness for $500, right? Because someone will pay that because it's a matter of like, it's an OG character, and I get, you know, it's a popular character and it's a really good figure, and you can't get it, right? So that's, Peacemaker would retain. So Sideshow doesn't really care as much about that, but as far as like resale value, for us, I mean, you know, I want to get the figures as cheap as possible. I agree, but it's also nice to have something you paid for retain at least its value. No one's looking to get rich off collecting, so I think that's maybe sometimes the misinterpretation that happens, either like consciously or
make
unconsciously.
Money, or even
no one's trying to get rich off because you're just not going to. It's not the right market for it. It's not the right game to play. But I would like my figure to retain close to its value over time, right? I get if I bought it and it's still in stock, but you know, it's.
And do you think with that logic, right? Because that would only retain value, and it's proven time and time again. As soon as it sells out on Sideshow, for the most part, the value shoots up. So it makes sense that if Sideshow only, you know, got a small batches of Peacemaker, then that means you would at least get your money back, and that kind of makes sense.
I would think so.
The question is, like we talked about this before, if Sideshow, does it make sense for Hot Toys to make small batches? And we all answered no, right? We all answered no. But it makes sense for Sideshow to get small batches. But if it's sold out on Sideshow now, but he's still available elsewhere, the Tim Sense of the world, Toys Wonderlands of the world, would that affect the resale value that you do have? Let's say you want to get rid of it. Okay, we're gonna get the equation out of value. You're not trying to get rich. You're moving. You want to get rid of the figure. You want to at least get 10-20% back, right? I don't want to be completely gone out of my money here, but since Sideshow is sold out, but it's available at Tim Cent, day one collectibles, because Hot Toys made 30,000. Sideshow only took 5, so there's 25 floating around there that is not with Sideshow, but it's out there. Hot Toys didn't throw it away. It's out there. And maybe they gave it to Toys Wonderland for 100 each. Does that solve the problem? Because you did buy it, and then it sold out. But case in point, Hellboy sold out at Sideshow. Still can't sell it for a lot. So is Sideshow, Sideshow having a low stock the solution for this thing though?
Well, Hellboy, you can't sell it for a lot. You also shouldn't be losing a ton of money on it. I've seen a few Hellboys sell slightly above retail and like on eBay and stuff like that. So I don't know how much money you will lose. But as far as if Hot Toys makes 30,000 Iron Man because they make the most, right? That's the figure that's going to get the most. And Sideshow's like, well, we're only going to carry 1,000. There's still 29,000 out there. Does that fix the market? Well, I guess in the sense of I think it's pretty, I would say that I think Sideshow essentially controls the market, right? Because if it's sold out on Sideshow, then essentially it goes up in value overseas. Now, if it's sitting for too long, then sure, I guess that could potentially be it. But I still see a ton of figures like Venom with Tim Cent. It's still pretty pricey. You know what I mean? Even though it's lower here, you know what I mean? So I think what's going to fix the market, I mean, because a lot of the time we talk about what is Sideshow really going to do? And, you know, is that going to fix the hot toy market as far as retaining its value? I believe so, because I think there's a lot of people out there who wouldn't buy from Toys Wonderland or overseas. You know what I mean? So there's a few of those. I
feel like there's two equations to this. We all assume that Sideshow is struggling because of dead stock. We're all assuming that. You know, we don't know for sure. We don't know. And then the other part is us, the collectors. You know, like, hey, how can I get back what I put out for this, right? So there's two equations to this. Like, it's solving Sideshow's money problem is really not my problem. You know, it's they cut they cut their staff. I don't know what they got to do if they're struggling. We don't know if they're really struggling. They do this events
But
here
I think
and
they're
there,
giving us
$10 here and there. You know, I even read yesterday on Will's stream that, hey, what if Sideshow was struggling? I mean, not Sideshow, Hot Toys. We never really talk about. I think somebody commented, what if Hot Toys is struggling? They just opened a store in China where malls are non-existent anymore, and they opened a retail store where you didn't have to. So we're all assuming here that one is struggling, one we're not. I can assure you who's struggling, the people who needs to sell now. They're the ones struggling. I guess like the question is, you know, like we're all talking about the market. Does Sideshow, does it solve their problem if they sell less? Because they're going to have less dead stock, but they're also going to get less profit, because if you don't sell, you don't make money. Does it also solve our problem as collectors? Now I'm more worried about us, because I'm more worried about the collectors. Like if they sell out quicker in Sideshow, does it really solve our dilemma? Or do we have to compete with eBay, BSTs, because it's still available at Timcent? So does that correct the market, though? You know what I mean? Like, this is a prime example of this, right? So this used to be, Jesus Christ, why does it keep on stopping? Okay. This used to be a grail. And then it's not a grail anymore, because it was available at Sideshow and people are complaining. And Will even bought this for like $240. It used to be a grail. We bought it for $240, and we were like, dude, this is a piece of shit now. No one likes this.
Yeah, right. I bought it and then sold it like 3 weeks later.
And now it's back to where it started, like almost $370. This is used, Mark 47. It sold out at Sideshow. It sold out pretty much everywhere else, because I think Sideshow sat on this for what, like almost 2 years, maybe?
Same with Darkside Anakin. Yeah, he was on
maybe
there
a year or so when they reissued it, right? Like when they reissued it, sat for about 2 years. No one wanted it. Will got it for $240. Now it's back. I guess my point here is that, do we really have a problem? Because we can see it goes back. Or do we want a quick fix to the problem, meaning get a low stock so it sells out right away so I can sell it right away?
No, I wouldn't want to sell it right away. I think that would be pretty much flipping at that point. But I think it's more so just, to me, to have something that retains its value over time is nice, because, like I said, things come up. Like I've, moved and had to sell figures and move on from different things. And, it is nice, it's not the end of the world if I lose 10 or even maybe tops 20%. But when I'm losing 50% on a figure, that is unfortunate. Sometimes that's just inevitable, but overproduction, oversaturation, whatever. But I don't know, Optical. I do think that, like I said, I do think Sideshow has to try something. So to me, I think this is just, maybe it could be a Band-Aid, could be, but I think it's worth a look for them. Yes, they want to move as much volume as possible, but it's so much, I'm worried. I have a feeling, based on what my talks with Carlos and with others have been, about the dead stock situation. Sideshow doesn't really want to dilute the brand, so to speak, and start discounting Hot Toys left and right. I don't think that's something they want to do, right? I think they'd almost rather carry less than sort of quote unquote dilute the brand, because I know with comic retailers like Comic Concepts, Alter Ego, whatever, they put a limit on them saying you can only sell it at this price, like a minimum. Like you have to at least sell it for this amount, because they don't want to oversaturate and dilute the brand, right? So I do think if Sideshow starts discounting things by 30, and Black Friday, you might even see 40%, right? That's not entirely unheard of with Chitauri and First Order Stormtroopers. But when you start seeing that for Thanos and Iron Man and things like that, and Boba Fett, that's where it starts to get concerning. When Sideshow can't move popular characters, I think they got to try something. So is it the solution? Maybe not. But I do think it's the solution to changing the market to maybe a more healthy state. I get it's, if you buy low, it's not a problem, because if you bought Taskmaster for 120, you can sell it for 120. I mean, you can sell it for 150. So it's not the end of the world if you're smart about your purchasing, but I would not buy anything for retail unless it hits a blue screen. Unless it hits a blue screen and you feel like you have to, then for a figure you really want, I would not chance it, because I don't know if Sideshow is serious about this or not. They might be bluffing, but if you really want Cad Bane, for example, and he hits blue screen, I'd probably do it. But if you really don't give a shit about Reva and she hits blue screen, then don't worry about it. So, but I do think it's the solution. Yeah. It's a Band-Aid, but I do think it could change some things to maybe alter the market a little bit. Toys Wonderland might be unaffected, but I do think they're monitoring what Sideshow's doing. I do think that. I do think they're pretty heavily influenced by them. They're probably looking at their website daily. So
I think for I think in stock items, they depend on that. The moment they go out of stock at Sideshow, it hikes up.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's my point. Yeah, like if Taskmaster sells out on Sideshow, it's not going to be 150 on Toys Wonderland. It's going to be 300 or 250. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now what I did is I used one of my marketing tools, and I was able to see that for August and September, Sideshow went up from spending about $8,000 to $9,000 in monthly advertising to about $14,000 to $16,000. So in August. Also in August is when started doing a lot of promotions, and they doubled down on things like hot toys and keywords like that. So essentially what it's telling us is that Sideshow is, and not only did they say, hey, let's increase our monthly advertising by, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Let's also discount the figures, right? By 25, 30%. So that's telling us that they desperately don't want these dead stock. Maybe they're not doing bad financially because obviously they can increase their money, but I think they are seeing the obvious thing, which is the recession's going to get worse, and they don't want this shit sitting.
So right? Do you think them discounting it is strictly because we got some new items, right? Like Miles Morales just landed, and he's 10% off because of part of the Labor Day sale.
Yeah.
Do you think the 10% is to attract more people or to get rid of dead stock? Because now the 10% is not exclusive to figures that they can't move. So I guess I'm going to ask you, Carlos, is dead stock a new thing? Is it because of Hot Toys producing more, or is it because third-party resellers they're fighting with it? Are they discounting these guys because they have too many? Because we're assuming it's dead stock, right? Because we've seen Thanos for 4 years, so it makes sense that they have dead stock. But Miles Morales, why would you discount Miles Morales?
Well, I think it's I think the obvious answer for me is that when I look at these market watches and understand what's going on with the economy, I look at all this and I say, Sideshow, Hot Toys, statues, these are not a need. It's just simply a want. It's going to be like, well, do I buy this figure or do I feed my family? And it's an obvious choice. And I think a Sideshow is trying to get rid of that. I think they're looking at all this and saying, well, how do I get rid of all this? Because if the recession hits hard, which again, I'll say it one more time, that for Q4 is estimated to be one of the worst holiday seasons. I don't know if it is. That's just what I've heard consistently. So if that is true, Sideshow probably doesn't want to hold on to this. What's going on with China and COVID, and now this new, collapse that they may be going through, they don't want this. They don't want to hold on to these dead stocks. So it's not so much as a new thing. I think they're just trying to get rid of it. I think that's why I've said it for a while. So back in January, I called it. I said July would be our second quarter, right? Of being in during the recession. You're going to see the lowest prices of Hot Toys of all time. And I think Black Friday, you're going to see $80, $70 figures, Hot Toy figures on Toys Wonderland. And you're going to see that because I don't believe any of these retailers want to hold on to this much product, knowing what may be to come. Because if I am wrong, then in their mindset, well, hey, we have money, we have cash is king, is great. If I am right, then they're gonna put themselves in the best position possible to lay off people, or possibly not be able to lay off people, or be able to actually not go out of business, and so many things that can happen with the recession that will last roughly 10 months. That's on average of what a recession lasts. I'm sure you know that. So it's not so much that it's Hot Toys. Yes, it's overproducing, but I think Sideshow, they don't care. And I've said this before, they don't care what Hot Toys would be doing. It's more about how do they protect themselves from not carrying that stock. Well, yes, more may mean more profit. It doesn't mean anything if it's just sitting there and you're paying LA prices, $20, $30 an hour on some dude to manage the SKUs, and the insurance is super high. It's California, there's a bunch of theft, and it's an LA building. Like, that's really what I think so.
Yeah. I guess the other question I have is that is dead stock, because we get affected by dead stock, right? Us collectors, when we sell, when you have to sell, that's when it gets us affected. Not, we don't care about Sideshow, but their thing.
Yeah.
So is it they're overproducing figures? Because that would be the solution, right? Like if they don't produce so much figures, then there's no dead stock. When there's no dead stock, we can sell our figures higher. So that depends on Hot Toys. So, because dead stock with Sideshow, them carrying dead stock is the only way I would say they can solve that. Like you said, like what do you call that? The impending what did you say? What's that? Yeah, recession and all that stuff. I mean, no one needs to buy this, right? We can all agree with that. But even if you discount it by $50, if I'm really hit by recession, I'm not even gonna look at your website. So
that's my point.
Yeah, I feel like this discounts is a sign that they're attracting more people. Like, hey, come here. We got some cool stuff here. Like
I think the opposite. I think a desperate business who is willing to spend $7,000, $5,000 to $7,000 more on advertising and discount things by 25 to 30%. It's telling you they believe they're in danger. I don't think it's the opposite. Right? Not danger of closing, like they think shit may go down. Because what good business, from a business standpoint, hey, let me spend more in advertising, but discount these things significantly more, especially new things. That doesn't make business sense. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing 10% off everything in stock. I mean,
everything in stock. Yeah. So it's not just, like everything.
Yeah, not just
it's
low
one thing.
Performers.
See, for me, it would be like for example, when I'm creating an ad, I'm saying, okay, we're going to increase our budget, but only people that come from an ad, when you click through, I can provide something called it's stupid, but it's called a cookie, right? And I can tag your IP, and I can say only you are going to see this special page I'm going to create. And this page means that if you sign up, I'm gonna give you a 10%, 15% coupon only for people who come from an ad. That's not what's happening. I just looked at what they're advertising. They're advertising their homepage, meaning they're just trying to promote their website everywhere. So discounts, typically in the advertising world, discounts or heavy discounts are made for those that come from an ad, so you can get a positive ROI. They're not doing that. I just looked at their ads, right? And their landing pages, meaning when you click at an ad, where are you taken? They're being taken to your homepage. That's probably the worst advertising strategy you can use, because it results in dead money, right? And that's what they're doing. So I think they're pushing things because they're trying to, get rid of stock, because I think they understand what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I understand with a 2-pack boba was heavily discounted, like 25% off or something
25,
like that.
Yeah,
25. I mean, that's a $500 figure. But the good news for you guys is 3,000 years ago, I was there.
Yeah. Before the dark times.
This was in 2014.
Oh, is your credit card number on there?
I deleted it. Originally, this is DX14. DC figure. Pretty popular, right? Mm-hmm. 206. You see the discount that I got? $62.
And free shipping.
And free shipping. And the rewards are earned $17.60. So that 144, you deduct 117 out of that. I got this figure for almost 120. This is 2014. If this happened in the time where we're all in 2014, we had us, which is streamers, we would have been like, they wouldn't last for 2 more years. Yet here we are on 2022, discounting figures less than this. So my point is dead stock, right? Like no one's buying this Joker back then. You know how much this Joker is now and how much I bought it for? It would rebound. So I guess the point that I'm trying to take here is that regardless if it's selling or not, you could. Now, the question is when. It took it didn't sell out in 2016. I guess we talk about market, is everyone expecting a quick turnaround? It's like, hey man, this is ridiculous. I mean, I bought this for 200. I can only get 120 out of it. Yeah, because you're trying to sell it 6 months after. But if you kind of wait, but not kind of, like maybe wait 3-4 years in terms of Thanos, you're not going to suffer the fate of losing 50, 60%. I mean, I bought this for 120. Even if you bought it for the retail price of 206.99. Don't tell me you won't get it. I mean, it was like, okay, it's Joker, right? Like, no one cares about Joker. Well, a lot of people cares about Joker, by the way. Oh, look at this. Robin. 128.24, and I got rewards for 123.50. Again, 2014. One can make arguing that, are they in trouble? Are they sitting on too much dead stock? Well, they were with Robin, I guess. No one wanted to buy. You know how much this Robin is now? And keep in mind, I sold this Robin for 150 because at that time, at like 2016, 15, I was just like, I don't need this guy. I was like, he's just taking up space. You know, I was like, all right, I'm going to sell it. And he was, I think, sold out at that point because when this happened, it flew off the shelves. So I bought this at that price. The following year, he sold out. I still couldn't sell it for a lot of money. So I sold it for 150. I was just like, I just want to get rid of it. I need the space. I only have 2 D12s, whatever. And now this Robin is, I don't know, how much is this? $300?
Like 300, yeah.
300.
So your question is, why is it like, were they in danger then? Is that kind of like, or
no,
like?
They were. This were when Avengers were hitting. This is 2014.
Yeah,
right. Because Avengers was 2012. Yeah.
So these guys were not relevant at the time.
Sure.
This just Batman, Joker, Robin. Oh, Avengers, Captain America, Star Spangled Man, part of the Avengers. I got him for 145. With
so did this happen to every single figure that you bought?
My point is, it's happening even when you are hot at that moment, because this is the peak of Avengers, 2014. And at this point, Star Spangled Man was kind of like, hey, it's kind of rare, right? Like, no one has this. We got the regular Cap. Who wants this? It's like, all right, no one's buying it because everyone wants to buy the Avengers. So now they're forced to discount them. It's like, all right, I'm gonna pick this up, 145.
Well, yeah. Let me ask you this question though. Back in 2014, because I got into this when it was like before the Mark 46 and the Hope Buster and all that. Back in this time, right? Was every figure discounted or only a few?
It would come to a point, and they have no competition around this time. Tim Cent is not around. There's no Toys Wonderland. It's just them. So they're not competing with anyone, yet they still discounted it heavily. So that's when I say...
The question is, my question is, did every figure that came out get discounted, or only some of these loser figures get
at a
discounted?
certain point they will be? Because I believe like everything, the technique back then is, this is 2014. I think this is the first Avengers, and then Age of Ultron is coming up. Sideshow knows too. Before they announced Age of Ultron, the other Caps, the other Iron Man would be discounted. Not like this now, like not what we have now,
right?
But kind of like what we have, 10% off. But you got to wait till Spectacular. They don't have this event.
I thought in 2014 though, a lot of figures were getting sold out. I mean, not all of them, but the majority were.
Yeah. Not the Iron Mans. The Iron Mans are not selling out. The Hulks were getting discounted because they were $300.
Well,
it's funny to say that now, but that was expensive back then.
Yeah, that was too expensive then.
Yeah, that was expensive.
Because I remember, dude, Mark, because I was in that time, Mark 46, Mark 5, Mark 47, those sold out. They didn't sit forever, nor were they ever discounted, and I bought those figures. You see what I mean? So also during 2014, we were in the bull market. Right now we're in a bear market. So bull market, meaning for those that don't know, it means the stock market has been going up, meaning it's only been getting better and better. Since 2008 in the recession, we've been in the bull market, or again in the recession, the economy going up for over a decade. That's a bull market. We're in a bear market now. So I think things are different. While some of these figures were cheaper or discounted, not every single SKU that you have, which these figures are, is a winner, or it's going to result in massive sales. So yeah, I understand maybe some figures were getting discounted, but I don't see, nor have I seen 25, 30% discounts or 10% discounts off the bat, right, from Sideshow. So
almost 50.
Right now we're in a, back then it was 50%. Is that what you're saying?
Look at this. It's 193. I got it for 145. If you factor in my rewards,
that's probably like 20%. Yeah.
If you factor in my rewards, there's a boost too in rewards. Remember, rewards are only 5%. Look at the rewards I got. It's like 26.65.
But what I'm saying
is, it was probably like double or triple rewards or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but my point is, if you go and get every figure that you've bought in 2014, 15, and 16, how many of those figures that were all bought were all discounted? Just probably a handful, not every single one, right? I'm assuming.
No, the point I'm trying to make here is that you see why the other figures are discounted. So having discounted figures does not mean, my point that I'm trying to make is, it doesn't mean trouble right away.
Right.
The difference that I see here is that back then Hot Toys was not making enough. That's why the Mark 7s of the world, that's why you're saying, Carlos, they're sold out, because the popular ones are as low as the non-popular ones. Like they make certain amount, so that's why they hold their value. That they only would make X amount and that's it, because they were still a startup company, and so was Sideshow perhaps. So these guys who's not getting sold, like the Star Spangled Man,
sure,
they probably sold like, I don't know, 200, 300 of these guys, but everything was sold out because everything was low. Because I think Hot Toys was making a lot less back then, and they only have to cater to Sideshow. But now it feels like Hot Toys is aware of the international market that they do have. Right. Therefore, they just make just an effort to make a lot, and we'll figure it out how we're going to distribute it. But fucking Toys Wonderland is moving volumes here, so shit, we get discounts on our factory. So I guess solving Sideshow at this point, like, because we're trying to solve Sideshow, right? Like, hey, if they run out of stock, everything's going to be gravy. Maybe if it was 2014, but right now, I don't know. I don't know if limiting Sideshow would solve our issue of correcting the market. As long as those guys exist at this point and they're too big now, I don't know.
Well, let's look at a few, like the 501st, right? They're sold out on Sideshow. They're sold out everywhere except Hong Kong. How are they doing on eBay? Because the reality is, you buy on Facebook groups, you usually shouldn't sell on Facebook groups unless you have a really nice margin, right? How are they doing typically on eBay? Because they're sold out, but they're widely available in Hong Kong resellers.
But that also took 2 years for that to happen.
But that's what I'm saying, though, right? Like, if it's sold out on Sideshow, it should somewhat help the market. It won't fix the market, but as a start of it, you know what I mean? It will help somewhat. I don't know how much, 10, 20, 40, 50, I don't know. But it will definitely help something. Doing the same thing over and over is the definition of insanity. And they have to do something. And I think this would help a little bit. I don't know how much. But I think Sideshow's
step. But
by you mean they have to do something? Who are you referring to? Hot Toys, Sideshow?
No, Sideshow.
Because I feel like I just showed you this one, right? They're discounting it heavily. Right? Does that mean they were in trouble in 2014? Because they're stronger than ever right now. So does that mean because they're discounting it heavily, we're assuming that they're struggling? If you look in this graph, okay, I'm gonna
discounting doesn't. Well, no, that's not.
We're saying that they can't sit on dead stock, right? Like they're hurting because they have dead stock. Are they? Because if they are in 2014, we're assuming that they have dead stock. That's why they discounted this heavily. I mean, who's this? Look at this Batman, 138. You take out this is $500 nowadays. So we're assuming that them sitting on dead stock is so bad for them that they're struggling, that they need to get rid of it. Do they? Do they?
No,
want
I don't think we're seeing that. Oh, like, okay, back then, I'm pretty sure that if I was to pull up my stuff, a lot of the stuff that I bought that went up in value didn't sit for a long time or get discounted. Sure, some things did, like this Batman and the Robin and a few things. But another thing that you were not looking at is that back then, see, if you sit on debt stock, that's fine if the economy isn't doing bad. But the economy is doing pretty bad right now, right? And I think that's what we're overseeing pretty easily, that if the recession keeps getting worse, or things keep getting more, the inflation keeps getting worse, unemployment keeps getting worse, and all these things are happening, yes, because Sideshow has not been with debt stock with the recession. All these figures you can hold and you can take that risk because Avengers and other figures are coming in. The economy it's going through a bull market and it's through a boom. So therefore, it's going to make up its losses and other stuff. That happens all the time in retail. Not every single product you sell is going to win. But right now, every single product is a loss, or they're selling it at a discount. It's funny because Will and I were talking about something. Okay, let's just go into this. So in business strategy, for interns or junior level positions or really entry level shit, right? There's something called the SWOT analysis. So SWOT. Do you guys do you do that in accounting or in finance, optical?
No.
I don't know if you do. So SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If you were to get Hot Toys right now and you were to fill all that out, it's going to be heavily lopsided from it's nothing but negative. It's nothing but weaknesses and threats. There's not a ton of strengths and opportunities. During a time of a recession and a bear market, which is what a recession or bear market is, you typically can look at a SWOT analysis and say, is this something I want to double down on? Is this something I want to be conservative on? Or is it something I want to jump ship on? If you look at the strengths of Hot Toys, what is a strength from a Hot Toy? That is good quality, okay? That it has Star Wars and Marvel license, okay, that's cool. If you look at the weaknesses, there's a ton, right? You look at opportunities. What's an opportunity for you to carry a Hot Toy as a product? What's an opportunity? Not really a whole ton. And threats, it's a ton. Recession, Inart, Hong Kong research. There's just so many threats on Sideshow's level. So on a simple SWOT analysis, you can look at it like it's heavily leaning towards one side than the other. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking at. So if I'm Sideshow, I'm like, well, if a recession does hit, there's not a ton of upside to keeping Hot Toys around, or at least a ton of dead side.
I feel like this is immune to recession. You know why? Because the people who buy this has disposable income.
No, they don't. No, they don't. That's not true. I'm sorry to say it, but no, they don't. Right? Want to know how I know? Well, there may be a few statue collectors and stuff. No, I don't believe the majority. And if I was, like 83% of Americans who make an average income live paycheck to paycheck. 83%. 62% of all Americans who make over $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck. No, I don't believe a lot of collectors have disposable income to buy this stuff. I don't. So when the market crashes, and if I'm hoping I'm wrong, but if it does, you will see a ton of stuff that I've been calling for a while. No, I don't believe the majority of collectors buy this with disposable income. I don't see that.
You think they would sacrifice rent to get this?
I think a lot of people go into debt for this. And I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case.
Doing it wrong. And first and foremost, if you are doing that, don't.
Yeah, if you're doing that,
don't. Regardless of what we say here, if you can't afford a Hot Toys, because let's face it, this is kind of expensive. They're not the most expensive thing in the world, but they're expensive. Like they could add up.
I mean, they're like the price of almost a PS5. I mean, so
and if you buy one every month.
Yeah, if you're buying multiple ones every month,
if you buy one, that's an average now is $300, and if you buy one every month, that is $3,600 per year, right? And that's some people. That's
so let's look at the average American, right? The average American makes what 54,000 and change, right? That's the average American. 82 or 83% of them live paycheck to paycheck,
right? But right? Like if you buy this and you don't have the money, then you have a bigger problem than worrying about the market. I'm talking about the people like us. Yeah, I'm talking about the people like us, because you're making it sound like the majority of the people who buys this could not afford them. While they're putting on the pre-orders left and right that, hey, I pre-ordered 2, 3. I mean, really, if you have 5, if you're working at a retail store and you're averaging 700, 800, per paycheck, it's just impossible to get this. It's impossible. I'm not trying to belittle that job, but this is an expensive hobby. Let's just face it. So people who could afford this, I would say at a minimum, they have a pretty decent paying job. And if you are jumping into this without a pretty decent paying job, then you have a bigger problem than worrying about the market. You should worry about, like how you handle your finances. But
I can almost name like 15 people right now that can't afford this but are buying this. Obviously, I won't name them, but I can easily name them. At least 15 that are in the chat. Not this chat, but are active.
Yeah, I guess the point that I'm like that goes in here is that I've seen it. It's a cycle. It's like a trend in fashion. Sure. Like people are panicking because they're like, oh, the value is being, it's not there. Hot Toys doesn't want this. The problem back then was nothing is in stock. In the first Avengers, nothing in stock. We go to Sideshow to browse, and I'm sure they corrected that. They were like, you know what, dude, what's being left to me are the Batmans. I don't need these Batmans. I want to sell. Can you pump out more? And here comes Sideshow. It's like, here come Hot Toys. It's like, all right, you know what? We're growing. Got to pump out more. And it goes hand in hand. You pump out more. There's more demand. Now there's more supply than demand. Would it correct itself? Maybe. Maybe they need to correct it to a certain degree. What we're forgetting to factor in is the other avenues outside of 2014. I guess if they shut down all the third-party resellers, I would believe that they would scale back. I mean, Hot Toys, not Sideshow.
But they did.
I believe that they would scale back. But if it's Sideshow's scale back right now, they would go back to 2014, where they don't have nothing. And then the difference now is I'm not going to wait for Sideshow. I'm going to go to Tim Cent. And if I go to Tim Cent, and if I discover his better prices, even when you have stocks, I'm not going to go with you anymore. Like, why would I? Why would I keep on going to you?
Yeah.
I don't know if most U.S. buyers feel comfortable buying from Hong Kong unless they have to, or unless the price is too good to ignore. So I think like if the prices are pretty similar optical, I think most people are going to feel way more comfortable going with Sideshow. So I think the only reason people are buying Toys Wonderland is because the prices are just ridiculous, right? Like if your Taskmaster is 120 and he's 250 on Sideshow, yeah, people are willing to roll the dice at that point. But if you put Taskmaster at 230 on Hong Kong and 250 at Sideshow, they're going to go with Sideshow. Like I do think,
no doubt. No doubt.
I think that's the point, because like if Sideshow sells out of the stock, and they can't compete with Toys Wonderland prices anyway. So why even try? Because at that point, like it doesn't make sense to do so. But if Sideshow sells out, that's not the prices you're going to see on those sites. So that's my point. So then at that point, they're not really losing business unless the person wants to pay more than they would have paid.
But
so I think
that Toys Wonderland scenario is just once in a blue moon. Like, that I buy from Toys Wonderland once in a blue moon.
When it's like $100, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, they're pretty competitive, right? Like with Sideshow, the difference is maybe $50 at most, and you can easily get that back in shipping or that's my point. Like those rare instances, the Sideshow is not worried about that. They're worried about all the time, because if they don't have,
but they're not a rare instance anymore, though, right? But they're not a rare instance because now, every day, it feels like Toys Wonderland, every figure, every Vision, every Return of the Jedi, every figure coming out is like 50%, 70% off still now.
It's still kind of rare, because look at this, like the Vision, right? Like they did the, we'll ship in October or something like that.
Yeah,
buy it on that. My fear, if I'm Sideshow,
the point is that
you could kind of like, that's my point. If you don't have it, these collectors are willing to go out of their way to get what they want. And they'll get it. They will get it if you don't have it. Speaking of, you don't have it, and they have finding a way to get it. Will Inart affect the way you collect? To your point,
main topic, baby.
Do not carry Inart. You guys are gonna buy Inart outside of Sideshow. So that was my point. If
he trapped us, Carlos.
If you can't get Hot Toys from Sideshow, you're gonna get it somewhere else. You guys can get Inart from Sideshow. You're going to get it from somewhere else. So with Inart now, Sideshow's out of the context here.
Sure.
How does it affect you now? Like, how does it affect you? Are you waiting for Sideshow from Hot Toys to respond? Are you pre-ordering? Because they have a totally different way of doing their business. It feels like 2014. Inart goes you throwback to, we have low numbers. If you don't get it, you're going to pay for it. So does that change the way, not just in terms of pre-ordering, but should I wait for Hot Toys to respond? Should I pre-order now? Should I risk $50? What should I do? How do you guys approach this?
I would pre-order Inart personally. Yeah, if you want it. I mean, I think it's because we don't know optical. We don't have a precedent set yet. The Joker is going to be that precedent. We're going to see, like, once he is released, is there stock available? Because right now you cannot find it, right? You can't go on any website and pre-order that Joker right now. It's gone. So when it releases, does Inart say, okay, we're going to put 1,000 more out? They might, right? And at that point, yeah, I didn't need to pre-order. But with Inart, I do feel like if you really want the figure, because those are not cheap figures, that's a big investment, right? I think it's worth the NRD risk. of what the upside could be and the potential of you missing out on that figure. But you got to want it. Don't just get it because I'm fear of missing out, but I don't really want the figure. Like for me, for this Batman, I like the Batman film. I don't love the Batman film. So I have no interest in pre-ordering this, whether it's going to sell out or not, right? I just don't care. So, but Gandalf, I did. Pennywise, I did. And with the Joker, I did. Because those are figures that I do really want and figures that I don't want to miss out on because I do feel like the upside, the ceiling for them, if you will, like speaking of fantasy football talk, which Carlos is going to lose week 1, but it's fine.
Oh, fuck you.
But yeah, but Cam Newton's not a boss, bro. But and like I do think that at the end of the day, if it's something you really want, I do think Inart is going to, like you said, Optical, rewind the clock a little bit in terms of you need to pre-order this. But if you've been buying third party, then you know how this is already, because this is what third party companies have been doing. Like if you wanted to get those Final Fantasy figures, then you need to pre-order them, because now look at Cloud and Sephiroth; they're 3 times retail. I mean, it's, you needed to pre-order them to get them. And, I like having stock available too, but Inart, we'll see how Inart's going to approach things. The way they've implied it so far is that it's not going to be Hot Toys like. It's not going to be tons of stock, right? Pennywise, John said they're probably only making like 1,000 of those, right? Because it's just not a high volume mover like Joker at 15,000. So, like, why produce more than they have to? I don't think they're going to have 5,000 Pennywise sitting out there for 30% off. I don't think that's going to happen. So to me, I kind of like that. Because if you want it, then you should get it and maybe you'll get some stock. But I do think it's going to affect the way we collect, in that I do right now, based on the prototypes we've seen, think it's worth the NRD risk you would pay for some sites. Spec Fiction's, they're charging $100 NRD. I feel like you got to really want it to take that risk. But if it's $30, $40, $50, I'm going to roll the dice on that one. I've lost more in NRDs than that before. So it sucks, but I think it's going to change the way we collect, because you're going to have to pre-order these probably. That's at least the implication right now. We don't know. Joker will be the test, the first test, but for now, I do think that's probably going to be the way that Inart's approaching this.
Carlos, before you jump in, I'm going to ask Will this. So
yeah,
I guess in terms of NRD, that's fine. I mean, $50 is not a big deal for us, right? Like, I mean,
it's not the end of the world, sucks, but yeah, I could have bought Last of Us remake, but
presumably, let's assume Inart is who they said they are, right? Like they are the next big thing, right? They're kind of rare. They really blow Hot Toys out of the water. Let's pretend, right, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
Would it affect you? Would it affect the way you see Hot Toys from here on forward? Let's say you got that Joker and it's fantastic, and you're going to be like, is every purchase from Hot Toys, because we know their IPs are very limited, is every purchase now going to be like, I don't know, maybe Inart does this?
It could. Absolutely it could. I know Carlos and I have talked about this before, but they only have the Warner Bros. Licenses, really. So when it comes to Star Wars and Marvel, you're just SOL, right? You got Hot Toys and that's it. But that Hot Toys is a great place to be because they make amazing products. But yeah, I mean, if Hot Toys, for example, the Hot Toys Joker DX that they're going to eventually make, it's going to have to be pretty damn good for people to cancel their Inart pre-orders, right? Even if it's half the price and you're getting one figure, say it's $400, right? Or $350, like with rooted hair or something. It's going to be pretty good. But yes, if there's a possibility, like for example, Optical, I did this and Carlos kind of advised me for this, so I'll give him credit for this one. I do think he was right. I sold my DX19 because I know that Inart is making the Christian Bale Batman. And if they do, I hope it will be better. If it's not, then I'll go back and buy the DX19 probably for about what I sold it for, $250 or less, right? So that's kind of the point. I do think it's going to affect the way we collect, in that if there's a common IP, like a crossover, then yes.
You're going to have to think twice.
It makes me think twice about pre-ordering a Hot Toy, because I'm like, I know Inart's more expensive, usually like 1.5 to 2 times. But if I can get the Inart Christian Bale and it looks like the prototype of this Batman, then the DX19 is great, but I have a feeling the Inart might be better if they deliver the proto quality to the final. So yeah, it will affect the way I think that we all collect. And Optical, I know I was kind of used to it to some degree, but I was kind of a naysayer in the beginning. I was like, I don't think people are going to pay these prices. A Gandalf for $500, I don't think that's realistic. But I think I was wrong. I mean, I think I have been going for it, and I think others have been gravitating towards it too. Whether we get duped or not is the question. But, because the final product might be shit for all we know. But I do think there seems to be a market for it where I didn't think there would be.
And Bob was right. Thought we have Recession.
A bunker and shotgun cells. This is like a 10 Cloverfield Lane in this bitch.
But yeah, Carlos, how would you approach this? Same as Will. Like, would it make you think twice before you pull a trigger on a Hot Toys? Like thinking they because we all know they only have Warner Brothers, but if let's say Joker was a hit, everything as they advertised, and they get Marvel, for example, only in China, for example, they can only sell in China, but so is Warner Brothers. Like, is it stopping collectors? What if they get Marvel only? They can only distribute it in Slovenia or something like that.
Slovakia or something.
I'm sure
Sokovia.
I'm sure we can find a way to get that. Would you look differently now, like moving forward with your purchases?
And we are assuming that the final product
is what we saw.
It's what we saw.
Exactly what we saw. Yeah.
And are we assuming, because Bob Dylan made a good point, because that's what I've been saying, but are we assuming no recession either, right? Just to get rid of all those topics, right? Or are we including that?
It's just, we're not affected by it. It didn't happen. They are as advertised. And, All
right, cool. So, yeah, I think it drastically affects the way you collect 100%, just because it is, in my opinion, smaller batches. And actually, not an opinion, it's a fact. It's smaller batches. And I guess, in my opinion, it's better quality than Hot Toys, based again on the rules that we applied, which was it's exactly what the prototypes are going to be. I think every single Inart figure announced so far looks better than the 3-0 easy to beat, but better than the Hot Toy, comparison. It's not a lot, obviously, at the end of the day, but I see this Batman. I think that looks great. Way better. We always talked about what can be better than Hot Toys. I always felt like, hey, someone can come out and give us better materials. They did, and I think it looks better. Pennywise, at least 50% better in my opinion. I don't really want to put Inart and Asmus because they're not in the same ballpark. And obviously Joker is easier, better, or significantly better because it was done 10 years ago. But I would say it drastically affects the way you collect, just because you can get a much better piece. You want to be careful, obviously, because you can't afford them all now. You're looking at grail prices, essentially, of $500 a figure. But and you always, with Pennywise, you look at Pennywise now, I think the Hot Toy market had done really well for it, and then the Inart came out and kind of ruined it. So I think, you want to be careful with that. And did you ask what happens if they get Marvel and Star Wars at that point?
Well, that's, I initially, but I was just like, well, that's kind of like easy answer, I suppose. But let's just say this, let's say what their lineup is right now. With their current lineup, which ones are you planning to get?
Almost all of them, to be honest with you. So I'm a big Inart fan. Almost all of them. I didn't say all of them. I wouldn't collect Harry Potter, so no. Mm-hmm. But almost all of them, I would say, just because I really like their product. So with
Inart, oh, go ahead.
You know what I mean? I was going to say, but there's also a lot of people, and a lot of that I've been able to speak to, that they don't want to order from Inart because it's in Hong Kong and they don't feel easy about it. So they won't go with 1/6 kit or Toys Buying Agent or Toys Wonderland or KG Hobby. They're going with, Spec Fiction, just because it's a U.S. retailer and they want to stick in the U.S. A lot of people do feel, not easy about it. I feel like a lot of people aren't comfortable going outside of the U.S., which is why a few people now that I've freaking talked to now that have talked to me about this shit, it feels like they're like, well, price does not matter. I just want to go with Sideshow. I don't care if it's cheaper somewhere else. And I've heard that quite a few different times now. So I feel like a lot of people just want to stay in the U.S. You know what I mean? So
Preferably, I do like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I do.
ideally.
If you have an issue, you could ship it back to Todd compared to ship it back to Kid, who's in China. You know, it's like it's a little bit
I
easier.
became
Colors is
blue.
But yeah, I do get what you're saying. But that on that same token, well, I guess I pre-ordered 3 NR figures, and 2 of them are with Kit. So yeah, because I've had good experiences with him, but I do
Mine are with Spec.
understand. Yeah, I do. I have Gandalf with Spec. I do understand the concern about customer service, right? We really don't know how that's going to shake out. Say the magnets suck ass, and then we're like, it's a problem, and like that could be a huge issue. So Sideshow's customer service is pretty damn good. We can't deny that. They're the best. When it comes to customer service,
but I guess
don't think there's any question about it.
I guess in this example, it would just be like that problem doesn't exist, right? Like customer service is not going to be like, okay, they come out great. Then, I still think a lot of people don't want to deal with Hong Kong just to not deal with them overall.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean,
mean?
ideally, obviously, you don't want to deal with Hong Kong. That's why I don't want Sideshow not to carry a whole lot of figures, because I also just want to deal with them, But let's just say this is as advertised. So, Will, you are using Shure SM7B now, and let's pretend Inart is Shure SM7B. And what was your mic before that?
The Shure SM58,
which is still a pretty good mic.
It was like $100. Yeah.
Yeah, Shure SM58 still sounds nice. Would you ever go back to that mic?
No.
That is Hot Toys, right? So,
God damn, you got me, Carlos. I'm feeling trapped.
You got that. So now you felt Shure SM7B. And again, presumably this is everything as advertised. Would you look at Hot Toys less now? Like you would convince yourself now, it would be like, you know what? I'd collect less with Inart. I do like what they offer, which is less, even though I don't get the character. Let's say you love Iron Man, but now you're just hoping hopefully Inart makes one, because I can never go back to Hot Toys. Would that ever be a thing, you think, that, or has that ever happened to you?
I don't think so. Well, do you want to go first, Carlos? Or you?
No, you can go.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't think so, just because Hot Toys has Star Wars and Marvel. I do feel like I tend to, if Inart comes, especially that Joker, if that Joker comes out really, really nice, and it looks just like a tier above everything else, I do think I'll look at some of my lesser Hot Toys a little bit differently. If I look at Yondu, I don't think I'm going to look at him differently. Or I'm not going to look at, for example, like the new Endgame Loki or Infinity War Thanos, who I think are great, or Iron Man, things like that. I'm not going to look at those differently. But some of those other ones where the head sculpts are kind of like, so-so, right? Maybe the Force Awakens Rey that I have. I'll look at that differently, right? Or even the Rise of Skywalker Rey, which I think the head sculpt's good. Not great, good. I think I'll look at that a little bit differently, because then I'm like, or even some of my third party that I have, right? Or the 3.0 Game of Thrones that I have that are pretty good, but they're not in our prototype quality, right? So I do think I could end up collecting less. It's a good question, because I have taken the approach of less is more, because it's like I want higher quality but less things. So I do think that's something that I have adopted, just with moving and stuff, and just with how my collection's evolved over time. But Inart could change that in the way we approach that, because they are more expensive. You're paying 1.5 times a Hot Toy probably, or 2 times, like I said, right? So, I think that you can't, that's not sustainable forever if you're buying Hot Toys also. So tons of Hot Toys. So I do think it could be a situation where, yes, I do buy less Hot Toys if Inart final products are really good. But at the end of the day, we're all going to want Star Wars and Marvel shit, and Inart can't touch it. So, it could, but I think it will have me specifically willing to not willing to accept subpar Hot Toy releases. Okay. I do think that will be a thing. I do think if we get like Winter Soldier, for example, right? I never really wanted that figure to begin with, but if they do that with Loki, I'm going to be like a lot more upset about it, because it's like Inart is a serious competitor. We'll see when the final products come out, like I said, but if they come out looking as good as we hope, then Hot Toys cannot release shit. Like that Winter Soldier and that Cable, for example, are not up to Hot Toys quality. And I do think I'll look at those type of figures, and if they're discounted $150, it won't phase me. I'm gonna be like, I'm not buying that, because I want to get something that's good.
Right.
So really good, really not just good, but like really good, because that's Hot Toys. Hot Toys is really good. They are the king, and they need to continue to show that.
And Carlos too, like with this, because if they're really good, right? Again, this is the hypothetical question here. If they're really good, would it ever creep your mind? Because we never thought Inart is going to be in this position before. And then here we are. We never thought anyone would actually step up and challenge Hot Toys. Yet here we are. Is it far-fetched to think that maybe one day, if this turns out really great, now your future purchases are kind of in questions? Because now it's going to play in your mind, what if? Like, we never thought Inart would make one. Now you're being like, what if they pick up X? What if they pick up Star Wars? What if they pick up this? Should I pre-order this knowing that Hot Toys wouldn't be released in 2 years? And within that 2 years, maybe Inart swoops in and get the license from, like Chinese license or, Asian license. And for would that play into your equation? Or you would be like, all right, any Marvel, I'll do Hot Toys, and anything Warner Brothers, I'll do Inart.
Well, I mean, I always thought that there was, because at the time that we talked about this, J&D was supposed to be the possible 1/6, and I had talked about that there would be someone that, can come up and charge premium prices, so I always believed there would have been someone, because I always believed there was a market for this. I believe that, would that mean you're collecting less Hot Toys? I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Right. I mean, if you're going to get, less figures, at the end of the day, but when it comes down to Inart, you asked me the question once, and I guess I'm not getting away from your question, I guess, but you said, what happens if Inart release a figure and is the exact same thing as Hot Toys? Who would you go with? You know what I mean? I guess for me, I would still go with the cheaper option if it looks the same. You know what I mean? Like, and it would vary. Like for the Batman, I probably would never use him with the head sculpt. So even if Inart is better, I wouldn't go with Inart if they're exactly essentially the same thing. You know what I mean? So I would go with the cheaper option, but it would make it where I wouldn't so much pre-order, but I would be very cautious about what I'm pre-ordering now, which is that Nightmare Batman and Superman was a perfect example. I have not bought it, even though I really want that Superman, because Inart is supposed to come out with a Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill Superman. And rumors is that it may be a black suit. So if it is, then I would want that because I believe it would be a better version, or I'm waiting for that at least. So I guess you would end up collecting less, which yesterday I said on Will Stream that would be okay for me, because at the end, if you end up missing figures like Taskmaster, before collecting, I was really more of a minimalist, and while cheap figures can let you get more quality, it's gonna be quantity. I hope Marvel would take some pages out of that book just from, hey, it's better to have more quality than just throw us a bunch of shit like She-Hulk. So I would kind of see Inart like that, right? It's more of a better quality, and you're not going to get everything, but do you really need everything? So that's how I would approach with Inart, really. So very cautious. And if they ever get a Marvel or Star Wars license, then the easy answer would be, well, then I definitely wouldn't pre-order Hot Toys, right? I would just wait.
Are you getting this Batman point. From what I'm getting?
I am.
Are you this Inart?
Yeah,
this Inart Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't get the 2-pack though. You just got the single, right?
I got the single and then the Bat Signal.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be die-cast.
So Inart, I think we're all rooting for Inart here, because we know the competition is always good, right? Like there's so many just questions with Inart, and we're hoping for the best. And they have a track record in Statue. Does that translate to 1/6 figure? Not necessarily, but we'll see. But that's why I'm optimistic here that they are gonna be who they are.
Well, they got a ton of really, really great artists that were already in China, like Viper and someone, I don't know if they want me to say their name or not, but someone showed me that who's actually potentially making the hands for Inart. So there were people that are already in China, people that are already talented out there. Prices are a lot lower, so they're not getting. I think they're the problem. Not the problem. The good thing is that they went with people who were already talented and well versed in 1/6 collecting, and had done some pretty previous really good work, like Viper with the Joker that Big Bretta has. So I believe that Inart's going to do a really good job, and I've said that. The third figure announced was Pennywise, right? Or was it Gandalf?
I think it was Pennywise.
Yeah,
Pennywise was
I think
second, wasn't it?
No, you're right. But Gandalf and Gandalf the third, whichever's their third figure. If that ends up coming out the way Protos are coming out, I think Inart would be at an all-time high, and then we'll start seeing pre-orders come in, quite a lot. And I think that may change the way Sideshow, because I'm pretty sure Sideshow is looking at this, right? So what they're doing. But yeah, I think I'm okay with collecting less. At the end of the day, if it means I don't get Dino or Gilgamesh or an Ant-Man or some of these characters that are like B or C list for me, or even D list, then I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, the way I'm thinking here is that would we look at Hot Toys less, once we get them in hand and they are who they are, and then we start looking around and be like, man, I don't know if I can go back here, kind of like a thing, especially with this Batman, because there's the disparity between this and the Hot Toys is $80, which is decent, right? It's not
decent, yeah.
It's not $200 where it's a big difference.
No,
it's manageable. Is it more expensive? Sure. But you could fork out an extra 80 if it is who they said they are. The proportions are better. This base might not be better, but at the end of the day, you want to have it look how it's supposed to look like, not because the base is better.
Right.
The only thing that I would see stopping Inart, if the prices are competitive like this, right, is the license, because they don't have a large library or portfolio to compete with Hot Toys. Now, let's say Inart is who they are, and this is the last question here. They're limited to Warner Brothers, basically, and one-offs. So does that mean you would collect more one-offs if Inart comes in? Because historically, one-offs are a terrible way to build a collection. You want to, you want to display a team. Star Wars here, Marvel here. Hot Toys have done that route. They got The Godfather, 300. They didn't take off till the Avengers. When the Avengers came in, you'll be like, oh man, this is good. Everyone wants to complete certain lines, and it's good for business and it's good for your display. Would you be, let's say Inart is who they are, great, but limited to Warner? I mean, let's be honest. You guys are not going to collect DC. You might get Gandalf, but
yeah, I'll get Lord of the Rings, but I'm
Lord
not
of the Rings, maybe.
Besides Dark Knight, I'll get Dark Knight.
But if they start releasing all these, if they start releasing, one-offs, and I'm not saying they're bad. I actually I love one-offs. But if they start with John McClane, things of that nature, would that interest you at all, or you'll be like, yeah, call me back when you got Star Wars?
No, it would interest me. Like, for example, I have the John Wick over here from Hot Toys, right? And that is great. I put the Max in that head sculpt on an optical, which I think you have too. Yeah. It really takes the figure to another level, I feel like. But it's not perfect, right? If Inart comes out with a John Wick, mine is going to drop in value significantly, but I'd probably still sell it and get it, right? So I would collect more one-offs. Even Terminator, I am really hoping they get the Terminator license, because I really think that would be a real hit for people. I think that would be something that people would go for. And if they start, that DX13 optical, that thing is fucking beautiful. But could the Inart improve it with some rooted hair? Maybe I'd look at it a little bit differently, right? So, and if you made a T2 clean Arnold, dude, I think that would be a big one. So I probably would. I think because I'm getting Maja cases, right? So I think I probably would have one display for one-offs and just put them all sort of in one big display, right? Have even third-party like Final Fantasy, video game stuff, just put them all like it's the one-off case, right? Yeah. That's probably what I would do, honestly. And I think that could still look really, really good. Because optical, I am going to get the Gandalf, and I heard that Aragorn is being announced soon by Inart.
Nice.
So Aragorn's being announced soon. For me. See, I know that might be one you pick up, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
See, so that one, I'm getting Aragorn, I'm going to get Legolas and Gandalf. I think I'm going to get all three as long as they're good, right? So, I do, honestly. I think I would, because I think at the end of the day, as long as you love the character, I'm going to go where the quality goes. Okay. Like that's what I'm going to do. I'm not necessarily going to worry about my universal display or whatever, right? I'm just going to go where the quality goes, because I want the best shit of the characters that I love. And with Pennywise, for example, that's why I have a half scale and I'll have the Inart, right? Because I love the character. And same with Loki, right? I'm getting that Queen Studios quarter scale and I'm getting the Hot Toys, but I'll go where the quality goes. So, the price has to be within my range, but at the end of the day, that's what I'll do. And, that's why some people are going J&D and, Inart. With Inart, they have my attention right now because they're making really good prototypes. And if the prototypes come out, the final products come out, anything looking like these prototypes, I think we're going to be really happy. So yes, to answer the question in a long-winded way, I would get more one-offs if I love the character and the franchise. So yeah, I would. I think it would change the way we collect for sure.
Because even if they do complete, let's say, Lord of the Rings, it's really hard to complete the lineup anyway. I mean, would you really buy a Faramir for $500?
I wouldn't. Like, I would just get the 3. Yeah.
Right. You would get the 3. So I guess this is where my first question was like, will Inart change the way we collect? Because right now we always wanted, hey, I need that. Even who's that guy, the small guy from Mandalorian, the guy who has
Quill.
Right, Quill, right? Like people are always like, oh man, I need that to complete my collection. Well, that's not going to happen with Inart.
No, it's too expensive.
Inart, I mean, would you buy a Quill for $800, for example? No, right? So it would change the way we see things as we know how to collect now. So, Carlos, would you adjust your way of thinking here? Like, hey, I have Jon Snow, because I think they're going to get Lord of the Rings. I mean, no, Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Sitting right next to Gandalf, for example. Is that okay? Would you like them to complete a line, or how would you approach that? Your display,
Yeah, I don't really care. I sent a photo to, I think to you too, Optical. I have Star Wars next to, like, pretty sure I have IG-11 next to Thanos, and I don't give a shit. So you're probably asking the wrong guy if I was like display and the way it looks. I just want the figure, and I don't really give a damn. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that would change the way I would collect, but I guess for a lot of people, I guess it would. People really care about having teams and all of that. I don't feel like if I don't complete the team, then I'm out of it. Like for Marvel, like if you have the big 3, I mean, you can't just have one, right? But like the 3, like, and I think that's what Inart is trying to do with like Lord of the Rings. Like if they make Harry Potter, that's one lonely wizard, you know what I mean? Like, but you put them next to like Gandalf, like you can kind of make it work. I don't know. Like, it's just like those figures next to each other doesn't bother me. Like I have Captain America next to Stan Lee, and they don't go together in any way. And I have the Stan Lee from like Guardians of the Galaxy, who's like in outer space and shit, and he's still next to him, like Endgame. Like it's like stuff like that doesn't bother me at all. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't see why this would bother me. So I don't know if that answers your question there.
Dude, the funny thing is we're talking about Inart now, and all the points that I mentioned throws us back to where Hot Toys started.
Right.
Low stocks, main characters, and just expensive. Because back then we felt Hot Toys was expensive, right? Like they didn't increase by much from 2008. Like they're still above $200. I just showed you a deal, so that's why it looks so cheap. But it feels like Inart is, taking the clock back, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. Because right now we're consumed with, I gotta get this trooper because he looks cool. That wasn't the thing back then. That's why Chitauris are still available up to now. Like you go to Sideshow, Chitauris, like no one wants to buy them because we felt it was expensive. And Inart just feels like a throwback collectible where you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna be selective here. I'm all right, I'm gonna get Jon Snow. I don't really need Cersei next to him. That's why I feel like Inart might change the way we collect moving forward, only if they are a hit.
If they're good.
If they're good, I think we're gonna see, and it's gonna trickle down. I think we're gonna see less B or C characters, and we're gonna focus on main characters, but being really, really good on these main characters. Because if not, Hot Toys wouldn't adapt, and they would, like both of you, just talking to both of you now, you are willing to sacrifice a lot of things, even not have Star Wars, just to get quality figures. And it looks like if they're a hit,
I would sacrifice. I love Marvel, dude. I would sacrifice at this point Thena, Gilgamesh, She-Hulk, because I know that's gonna get announced. Love and Thunder. I would sacrifice a shit ton just for better quality stuff from Hot Toys. 100% real leather. Like I would rather have all those things get canceled and get a real leather DX Vader than like a Gilgamesh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll rather sacrifice Riva and all this other stuff. So
that's why I feel like Queen Studio Inart is coming off a really good time, because none of these guys, because Hot Toys is about now, right? Like what's hot now. We got to give you, Riva and whatever, but nothing's good now. So what are we longing for? Flashback, old time's sake, the good figures, because Marvel sucks. Star Wars kind of, iffy right now until Mandalorian comes out. So, and then all their licenses are from the past, Lord of the Rings. So I think Inart needs to hurry this up, release this, to just put out the fire. And I don't know, man. I just feel like if they're a hit, if that's a big if, they would change the landscape of collecting. I think
it could.
I think we would see less Visions, the Visions who would sit down, or less Taskmaster. Because why would you buy Vision and Taskmaster if you can combine those money? You'd be like, oh, would you rather have Vision and Taskmaster or get Gandalf? I think that question would pop out more once Inart comes out. Would you rather get those two, or a one-off that's really, really good, or two good ones because they're not trash, and be, just roll with it? I don't know. I think we're gonna see less crowded detolfs moving forward if that happens. But like I said, curation. This thing is a cycle, so I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years would see all these troopers popping up again, or maybe we wouldn't change. Maybe Inart sucks.
Yeah, it could happen. Maybe the magnets suck. Maybe it's, I will say though, Carlos was bluffing hard, Optical, because I messaged John and he was like, no, we're not talking about a Drogon yet. So I knew Carlos was full of shit. Got you, bro. Tried to get me to sell this Drogon to him. But if Queen Studios Inart does make a Drogon, I'm going to feel really stupid, because then I'm going to be like, well, shit, I kept this 3-0 and it's good, but I'm sure the Inart one's going to blow it out of the water if that does happen. So
you were nervous.
I was nervous. I was nervous.
When is Joker supposed to come out? Probably
the end of this year, maybe sooner. Yeah.
Oh shit!
You got to go to the Vegas event, bro. Come on now.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. Are you guys going home with a figure?
That would be great, like a goodie bag. Everyone take home a Joker.
Dude, I want to take home Riley.
Yeah, I know. We'll take Riley's. Yeah, Riley's figure. But yeah, man, I think it could change the way. I think you'll see, if Inart are good, more curation, more selectiveness, right? Because I get the demand. I know like Leo and others have mentioned like they want to see Selena Kyle and things like that. Inart has made a very specific approach right now to tackle main key popular characters. Like I think maybe they'll go after Selena Kyle and characters like that soon, right? But I think right now they're going after Gandalf and Pennywise and Aragorn, right. And they're going after like heavy hitters.
True, right? Tested, lovable characters.
Right. Like, Pennywise is probably their least popular character, but he's still pretty... Like you see Pennywise shit everywhere if you go in Target, right? Like it's like there's Funko Pops, there's everything.
Which
like
Target do you go to?
Dude, the one local one. Like, but it's and even if you go on Hot Topic, right? You see a lot of Pennywise shit. Like it's very merchandisable character.
Hot Topic. You go to
bro. You don't buy the chain pants still? Okay.
I put that on my wallet.
Will, I have a question for you. Will, were you a Hot Topic kind of dude? Did you go to Hot Topic?
No, I didn't. I mean, sometimes if I want a Funko Pop or something, but other than that, no, I wasn't. I was
He's an
I was more like because I was emo, so I was not goth, so I was more like Urban Outfitters. Like I was like that. H&M. Yeah, more hipster. Not goth though.
You consider Mira a main character? Lane, only you consider Mira.
No, because Mira's gonna get canceled, bro. Like it
says, like with Inart, nothing's impossible right now. I mean, they could very well go 89 Batman.
Well, they're making Joaquin soon, and and I think that's gonna be cool, and Aragorn and Legolas and stuff like that. Like those are heavy hitters. Like they're not Joker, but they are popular.
It's funny because I was like talking to PJ about this, and I was just like, you know what, like, because he's on the camp too. It was like, oh, Hot Toys needs to lower their stocks. I was just like, the answer is not that. You know what's going to be the answer to all these? Inart. If Inart comes in kicking the door, and just a gangbanger, like right away. It was just like, I'm gonna get all your hot toys, and like
this is the type of competition obstacle that hopefully, if the finals are good, that we've been hoping for a long time, to push hot toys beyond what they think maybe they're capable of or what they're comfortable with, right? I think this is what we've wanted, because we've wanted, the prices might go up, but we might get these two companies competing in a way that will be beneficial for us, quality wise.
Yeah. And that might lower the stocks, because hot toys will be like, you know what? No one's buying our thing anyway. No one is, because these guys are out there, making a noise. And I think they are the solution to all of these, and they could be a problem as well, because if they suck, I think this would come back to bite us.
Because look what, like Carlos has said, look what the Inart Pennywise did to the Hot Toys Pennywise. It killed it. Like, I mean, it away. Like the Hot Toys Pennywise was maintaining its retail value pretty effectively at the time. Like, it was like pretty close to retail, if not above retail. You could sell it even when it is in stock, right? And now you're selling that thing for $190. I mean, it's it's just, you're taking an L on it. So
I think they are the outlier here, where they would solve this. I wouldn't even be surprised if they start making a noise if Sideshow picked them up. But we'll discuss that in another topic, because me and PJ were talking about it, but we'll discuss that. But hey, man, thank you for joining us, Carlos, for not wearing his cap and exposing us his forehead. We do appreciate that. Carlos, anything coming up? When can we expect your first upload, or
your first upload?
I
don't know. I'm kind of working on a YouTube banner, and then we'll see what kind of topics I want to talk about. Probably more Riva. I think that's I think everyone loves it. Probably more of that. No, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully soon. But I keep thinking, I created a YouTube channel, but it doesn't mean I'm actually gonna go through with it, just because it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? When you were like, dude, just create it and just do it. I was like, all right, I'll create it. Doesn't mean I'm
going to do the work for you, because I can do the work for you.
You can hire Lane. He'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do the work.
Or Beskar Kid.
Oh, and
I can make him a mod. They can kick you out.
Beskar Kid. What is that? That weirdo who left early because he doesn't like me for whatever reason. What's his name?
I don't think Beskar Kid's a weirdo. I just think it's funny he doesn't like you. I like Beskar.
No, not him. The other dude. He said he can't stand me. He literally said that. There you go. That weird.
Oh yeah, Ninja Squirrel. I like Ninja Squirrel too, man. I don't know why
Ninja Squirrel. I mean, a lot of people doesn't like you, so that's fair.
Well, he did say Cam Newton was a bust. So
he has a fair point. So I can't really blame him for that. But all right. Well, anything coming up?
Dude, man, Lights Camera Collect Friday at 5:30, and then Collectors Mingle at 8, and that's pretty much it, man. I'm excited. I probably won't do an unboxing or anything because I have no space to do it right now, but my Queen Studios Joker optical is coming tomorrow. So he will arrive tomorrow. The Queen Studios quarter scale Joker, the rooted hair artist edition one. That one is arriving tomorrow.
Finally.
I know, really excited about it. So hopefully everything arrives in one piece. So,
do one unboxing for it.
Dude, I kind of want to, but I don't have any space to do it. I don't have any room. I'm like stuck in here right now.
Just make it work. You just break some shit in there or something.
Yeah, I'll break some shit in there. Yeah. But yeah, man, it'll be that. And then I was waiting for a discount for Canon lenses today, and they didn't do anything. So
Black Friday.
Yeah, maybe I'll wait. But looking at some Canon lenses, so I'll be up in my photography game. So
you got to bring it on November.
I know.
Oh no, not November. I'll bring it on. You got to bring it on Vegas.
Yeah, see? Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. Dude, optical, you need to find a way to go, man. Like, it's going to be fun. And we're only going to be there like 1 day, 1 or 2 days.
Oh, you're just going to be there 1 day?
Yeah, I'm going to be there probably Friday and Saturday because the event's going to be on Saturday. So probably, 2 days. But yeah.
All right.
Wait, so you're going to go in?
Probably I'll arrive Friday and then stay Friday and Saturday and then go back Sunday.
Because the event is only Saturday, you said?
I think it's only Saturday, yeah.
That sucks.
Dude, you got to leave on Sunday.
That's what I'm doing.
What, to catch another? He'll catch another.
Friday,
so he already dodged the bullet once.
Sunday.
So. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Don't tempt him, Carlos.
Yeah, don't tell me. But thanks for having me, Optical. Appreciate it, man. It's always a blast. And I'm glad I got these other side. Ren's portraits up finally. Next to my God of War stuff. So
Ren's, that is awesome.
And Drogon, which Carlos can't buy. So
Ren's, that Last of Us portrait right there, it's awesome. I just wish you'd do a remaster for that.
He's got to do the remaster. Bro, get the remaster. Get the remake. It's really good. And I've been really into Optical. Did you get it yet?
No.
dude, come on, bro. It's really good.
Black Friday.
Yeah, probably that, but it's still good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys when I stream again next 2 months.
Sometime around then.
Like never. Okay.
Yeah, right. Bye.